Welcome to Leap into Livestream. My name is Dawn Choubet, and if you are a small business owner or a talent, a brand ambassador who wants to get into the world of live commerce and learn all there is to know so that you can succeed, you are in the right place. My job is to help you leap into Livestream. First things first, please subscribe to this podcast and this channel so that I can continue to produce more engaging content, educational content with incredible experts. We have Emer Gillen, who is here, a brand ambassador and, yes, an educator with Elemis. We're talking about Britain's #1 anti-aging skincare brand. Emer, this is such an exciting time to chat with you because I'm really curious to see how Elemis, such an established brand already, is progressing through the technology and forward into the live stream shopping space.
Great to be here. Thank you for asking me. Happy to chat about all things Elemis. And yeah, we are, we're a brand that we always love to push the boundaries. We never sit still. We're not about getting complacent in any space. And we love to be innovative as well. So the TV shopping, the online streaming, we've integrated it into our brand. And yeah, we love it.
Amazing. Well, first of all, you do appear on camera representing Elemis. You
Mhm.
and I know each other, of course, from the world of TV home shopping. I'm curious in the first place how it came to be that you ended up being front facing representing the brand in the first place.
Oh, I feel like I always have a story behind everything, right? And it wasn't a straightforward one. So I'm a trained esthetician, massage therapist, and I worked with Elemis for the very first time. Oh, I think we're touching on 24 years ago now. And it was on the cruise ships that I worked the very first time for Elemis. And from there, I went back into the spa side of things. And then I went into the education side. So I did it as a instructor within private beauty colleges back home in Ireland first. And then I went back into the spa side of thing and management within the spas. And then it was a natural transition for me to kind of join my love, my passion for Elemis and the products and just having my hands in amazing products every day to bringing that education piece in. So I joined the Elemis training team. And then while I was an international trainer for the brand, there was an opportunity there to go to Germany, actually. And it was the TV shopping channel there that Elemis was going to launch on. So we had a lady who spoke German and who had history with Elemis as well. So she was the talent that was going forward for the TV shopping appearance, but they wanted three people to audition just to have, opportunities and, different faces in front of the camera. So as an educator, I was there helping the people behind the scenes to learn about the brand for the first time. And I kind of got shoved in front of the camera to do the audition. And I got the gig. Like they picked me. I didn't speak German, although I did try and learn it at school. It didn't stick. But we did it in English, and then it was dubbed over in German. So that was my first introduction to TV shopping in a foreign language. But surrounded by products that I knew and loved. So that was my comfort zone. And because I'd just talked to audiences and people and classrooms and everybody who was there to learn Elemis was always my audience kind of thing. I just kind of forgot that the cameras are there and just thought of it like a classroom or an education experience. And that's where I started. And then I continued my TV shopping career with Elemis in the UK, in Italy, in France. I went to Australia, and then I came to the US and to Canada as well. So I've kind of covered a good few countries at this point.
Well, and obviously, you've got a wonderful personality. You translate very authentically on air. And it was
Yeah.
interesting hearing you talk about how you got comfortable speaking on camera, was really visualizing speaking to a classroom as an educator.
Yeah.
And I always say when people are trying to get comfortable speaking, either just public speaking, certainly on camera, is to imagine that you're speaking to somebody who is on your side. Imagine you're
Yeah.
speaking to a friend or a family member, and it's a totally different sort of mindset sometimes when you're dealing with a camera, or in the case of live stream shopping, a little pinhole, right, on a smartphone, for instance. You really do have to treat that technology as though it were a human being. Now, Emer, when I hear you talking about sort of your background as a trained esthetician and as an educator, that to me really is that secret sauce, that perfect element. Could you have imagined straying outside of your niche? And how difficult would it have been? I mean, to me, this just seemed like a natural progression to what you were doing already as an educator.
I'm off the firm believer, and my mom, really put this thought into my head from a very young age that whatever is for you won't pass you by. And, my career just, it kind of naturally took its own path as such. But I was at, the wheel, I was steering it in the direction I wanted to, and Elemis was always there. And I find that once you've got a passion for something, then it's very easy to move into the different kind of areas, because I always had the confidence. I knew I had the competence in what I was doing because I love the brand. I just love the product. So it doesn't matter where you stick me, me, what country I'm in. As long as I've got my products there with me, then it's almost like my little security. I can talk to anybody about the brand. I'm not as good as talking about myself, I have to admit. If you ask me to speak on a personal level in front of an audience, I'd be way more bashful and way more shy. But if you get me chatting about elements, then I'm good to go, or anything beauty for that matter.
Well, if you're passionate about something, that often makes for the best fit for a live stream shopping host or a live
Yeah.
selling talent when you are partnered with a brand. And so, whether you're an influencer who has this overarching niche expertise, you might find multiple brands that you want to work with. But if you are someone who already works for a company, working toward representing on camera could be a really great option as you move toward live stream shopping, shoppable video, social commerce, all the different words that sort of encompass what live stream shopping is. When you are building your show, so let's take it to either live stream or certainly TV home shopping, which it's all kind of the same when it comes to execution of a show flow, as I like to call it. Sometimes we call it scripting. What is your general process? You start with the product. That's the core. Now, how do you build out a presentation from that?
Yeah, so I suppose the key thing is to know what you've got and how long you've got to talk about it as well. That's always important. I like to break things down. I don't really work from a script. I know my products, I learn my products. I have the confidence that I can pull the nuggets, as I like to call them, the little buckets of information, which are just little sound bites about that product. And I have them not in a specific order, but I kind of have them, like I said, as little buckets that I can pull on whichever one, whichever way the conversation is going. I can utilize whatever bucket fits into the conversation that I'm having if I'm working with a host or another peer, whatever it may be. So usually I'll kind of structure my product, the information, the knowledge around those key points. I always take on the mindset whenever, whether I was on a camera or off a camera, but talking about a product, like if I was talking to my mom, my sister, my aunt, my girlfriend, what would they care about this product? Do they want every single ingredient listed out? No. But do they want to know the key ones? Of course, but they really want to know what it's going to do for them, how to use it, all of those secret tips that I can give as well as a professional. And that's kind of what I bring into my storytelling. And I love to bring a little bit of romance about the product as well. I think it's really important to bring the product to life when you can't see it and feel it and touch it physically yourself. It's my job to really bring it to life for you and explain textures and aromatics, or just what it will feel like when you're actually using it, and in my case with my products, how your skin will feel afterwards, especially.
I call it seeing the feel. When you
Yeah.
can't touch, taste, or try on a product, you're trying to connect through the screen. So
Yeah.
when we talk about that fantastic um, cleansing balm, for instance, that Elemis
Yes.
has, and there is such a distinct aroma
Hmm.
that it can be hard for an average person to pinpoint. But that's why it's so important to have accurate descriptions, because the moment you describe, and maybe as an example, I would ask you to describe it for people so that you can understand the layers of description. You can't just go, this cleansing balm smells like a spa. Okay, because we have to go deeper than that, right, Emer?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, breaking it out, or allowing them to imagine what it will feel like, when you're in your bathroom at the end of a really busy day, and the kids have been manic and work has been manic and life is manic. Close the bathroom door, and this is your drop the shoulders, take a couple of deep breaths, and then inhaling that exquisite aromatic. And yes, we've kind of captured that spa aroma in a jar with the Pro Collagen Cleansing Balm. Why? Because that spa is a place of tranquility, relaxation, it's luxury, it's pampering. And we want you to have all of that decadence tied up in a gorgeous little bow to use at home every single day. So it is that shoulders drop, let go of the day, clean away all the grime and the impurity and the makeup. But also, I like to think of it, the cathartic element of cleansing away the stress and cleansing away, you know, whatever arguments you might have had with people during the day, or the rush of traffic on the way home, or whatever those kind of little things are, or burning the dinner, or whatever it might be, right? That you just let go of them all. And it's amazing how a cleanser can really do all of that for you whilst truly treating your skin.
It's such an education to listen to a master like you be able to explain what that cleansing balm is like. And so for anyone listening, did you start to feel your shoulders drop? Did you start to imagine what it was like to let go of all the stresses of the day and to know that you could have done it in your own home? That although perhaps at a glance compared to drugstore brands, that cleansing balm might be a more invested purchase, right, than whatever drugstore store. But we know that you're getting an experience that typically you would only get in a spa by a trained esthetician, someone like Emer. And what would that cost? What would it cost in time to get the appointment, to drive there, to get parking, to get the treatment? If you can even step away from the kids, right? Because you don't have a
Yep.
babysitter. And all of a sudden, even though a little more costly as an actual outlay of cash to what you get in a drugstore, it's now a steal of a deal. And then you experience it. Then you get it home. And then you do feel your shoulders drop. You do open up that jar and you just open it just to smell it, even if you're not washing your face. And that's the
Story.
power
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
live selling, Emer. And it's such an incredible way for brands to get involved, I think, in connecting in a new way, especially in a world that is, let's face it, the newest generation is digital first.
Yeah.
So I'd like to talk from a brand standpoint because you've been with Elemis long enough. You've worked through these live shows and TV home shopping. And of course, Elemis does host live stream shopping events. So, talking a bit about the mindset of why a brand would want to get involved in live stream shopping, what are some of the key benefits that you see?
I think first and foremost, it's very, very much about the education side of thing for us as a brand, being able to connect with our community as well, to be able to interact with them on a like bi-weekly basis, or even monthly basis. We've built up a really beautiful, loyal viewership as well with our shopping, and it's people that are with us every single time we go live. And it's a great way to get input as well. We love to find out from our audience what they are interested in. It's funny, one of the things that my team and I laugh about consistently is that no matter how many times we do our live shopping and kind of feature how to layer products, every single show we do, there's still more questions about layering products. Or eye products is a really hot topic. Facial oils is another really hot topic. So it's amazing for us to get the feedback from our customer, and those who are purchasing already or brand new to the product, and maybe just wanting more information. And I think for a lot of people as well, they love to have a face to a brand. They like to have a connection with a brand. And I'm lucky enough that that's part of my role at Elemis is I get to do that. And it's a real privilege for me as well to speak to my customers. And I love that. And I love to get the feedback. I have such a lovely gentleman who messages me all the time. He watches every single one of our shows. And last week, he wrote me a little message on Instagram and he called out some of the people who he speaks to in our customer care department when he's making his purchases and picking up the phone and calling Elemis to buy products. And he called them out, and I then continue to call them out to my management and, to my director. And it was filtered back, obviously, to that team and customer care. So it's the full circle aspect of it as well that I think is amazing.
And when we talk about that interaction and the reaction and the ability to give the customer what they want, you mentioned about putting a face behind the brand. Now, with a globally recognized brand like Miss, there is an element of built-in trust because we have seen this brand. We've seen it on the cruise ships. We've
Mhm.
maybe seen it in home shopping. We've maybe seen it in the spas. But I'm speaking now to the brands that are out there that might even be online only retailers.
Mhm.
Consumer trust is a real problem. I don't really know. I don't know who this person is. I don't know who this brand is. I'm going to
Yeah.
go with someone I know better. When you do live stream shopping, you now put a face behind the brand. So that doesn't necessarily mean that people are going to always like your brand, but at least they know that you put a face to the brand. And I think that's such a critical a part of what live shopping is, TV home shopping, especially with e-commerce only online brands. I think that's so important to be able to put a face to it. When you are hosting your events and your shows, how much time do you like to spend on a product? What do you find is that perfect amount of time to be able to accurately describe, demonstrate a product, and hopefully connect with a consumer that has them adding to cart?
I'd say probably 10 minutes is a really kind of nice amount of time to dedicate to a product. It can stretch out longer than that because in a live environment, we're getting live feedback, in the moment feedback, questions that are coming through as well. So sometimes that can kind of elongate the topic, pad it out. Sometimes it can stray the conversation in a different direction, also. And that's for me then to remember to come full circle back, and just kind of repeat or re-emphasize. And the key thing is with that 10 minutes as well, obviously there'll be demonstration, talking about the product, maybe the layering side of things, the perfect partners for that product and what would work best with it or how to incorporate it into your routine. But you are very often repeating things as well through that time. So although it might be a full 10 minutes, it might be just 2 or 3 minutes of nuggets that you then kind of weave back in and repeat. And also knowing that the audience might not be consistently watching the whole thing. They might be doing another challenge. They could be out, having a power walk and listening to us audially, or they could be cooking the dinner, or they could be watching it on the side while they're doing work or whatever it might be. So it's nice to kind of bring that repetition back in, or just the audiences that are just dipping in and out of the show.
And you're also hearing in a different way. Audiences react to different words, different demonstrations, different tones
Mm.
of voice. And so, in that repetition, I think as a host, and for anyone out there watching, looking to maybe host a show, maybe you're a brand ambassador, maybe you're a niche influencer, this is why it's so important to not only know the products, front, back, forth, inside out, but to know different ways to describe and communicate essentially the same message. Don't get discouraged by the fact that it feels like you're repeating yourself, because that is actually what you need to do. I can't remember what the study was, but there was something to do with how we absorb information. And many times people have to hear something at least 2 or 3 times,
Yeah.
or see a commercial 2 or 3 times before it actually starts to stick. And so this is part of what live stream shopping is. And then on top of it, Emer, you want to add entertainment value. You want to add limited time offers. You want to add sometimes gamification. I'm curious, with the live stream shopping events that Elemis does,
Yep.
um, what do you use as strategies to keep people watching and to get them to the feed in the first place? Because that's always a challenge, right? When you're like, you want people to spend some time with you, and there's a lot of stuff going on that's competing for their time.
Yeah, we love to incentivize our shoppers as well, inviting them into a safe space to chat all things Elemis, encouraging them to comment. And by commenting within the feed, then it automatically puts them in a position where they could be a candidate or could be eligible to win a prize throughout our show as well. So we normally would have pre-selected either a product, one specific, or a kit or something that would be our prize of the show. And then we also work on different kind of strategies around the shopping side of things. So we might bring in a promotional discount or a gift with purchase. We use a code as well that then can be applied at checkout, and that would give them an advantage over the shopper who would be just on elemis.com, that they would have a unique code that we'd give out during the show.
Well, you want to reward people for
Absolutely.
participating in the show,
Mhm.
because it's like when I worked in traditional broadcast without viewers. I mean, you can have a show, but the whole point is to have people tune in. And ultimately, of course, as a business, you want to make sales, but this I look at as a strategy, and as a tool to connect a community of people. Let's use LMS, that love luxury products, that love treating themselves or people they love, that enjoy this particular brand, but that also want to be in conversation and in interaction with other like-minded people. When we talk about live stream shopping, live commerce, shoppable videos as being somewhat of an event, we really mean that, because we get to have conversations perhaps with a licensed esthetician that normally we wouldn't do when we're actually in office because we're focused on getting our facial done or whatever. We actually get insider information. We get to have very personal questions answered that probably relate to everybody on the feed. And I think, Emer, this is one of those brand advantages that goes beyond the sale. We're talking about community, we're talking about brand loyalty, we're talking about advertising too.
Yeah, absolutely. It really is all of those things. And, we can really see how engaged our community continues to be, how much they enjoy the shows as well and are thankful for the opportunity to ask the questions, and to have firsthand information given to them. And when you have skincare, it's unique to you as an individual as well, and it's not a one size fits all, and that's why we've got so many products within the range. But it's never understood that every single product is for everybody to use. That the variety is there so that you can tailor your own routine for your specific needs. And that can be a little bit daunting for some people as well, to know where to start, or what products work with what. And I think that's where our live shopping really has come into its own as well, is that it gives people the reassurance that, oh, they are doing the right thing, or that, oh, slotting this product in is going to change the game up, or seasonally the best way to look after their skin. And that's why we work really hard as well in the topics or the show titles, so that we are relevant to time of year, to, yes, promotions that are ongoing with the brand as well, of course. But we're working to our audience and their specific needs and wants as well.
Almost like a content calendar that acts as a production calendar for these streams for yourself as well.
Yeah, we do. So, we work, all the departments kind of filter together for our live shopping. So we draw on our e-commerce, our own website, but it's also our marketing team, our PR team, our social media team. We all work together, and we then kind of create the calendar of events. But yeah, we like to think that we're nimble and flexible as well, so that we can really stay not necessarily on trend as such, because we like to think we're the trend setters, Dawn, rather than we are the shepherds, not the sheep, when it comes to things. But yeah, that we're relevant to what's happening.
What is your general format when it comes to your live streams?
And we're still new to this as well. We've been doing it for over a year, but we've tried and tested different formats, and we like to mix things up and change things around. I'm always there as kind of front and center, and then very often I'll bring in a guest. So it might be somebody who sits alongside me. We chat with the audience as well, demonstration wise. So that we're just bringing something different and something new to the shows. We've done a show as well in our head office up in New York. So we've brought in different team members so that, there's always something different there. I also am front and center to the camera, but I have a team around me as well. So some of my team are remote, and they are working at home across the country in different states, and they would work on the chat, and they would help with the answering of questions within there, and they'd also then feed questions into me. One of my closer colleagues usually comes in as a voice, sometimes as a face, and they sometimes are here with me on site where we're doing the lives, or sometimes they're remote as well and just pop in with their camera. But we kind of keep that open communication there as well, just to kind of bring the team aspect in, so that it's not just me to the camera always. It's a nice break for me as well. And it's nice for me not to just be talking to myself, because sometimes when you just have a computer or a phone in front of you, it can feel like that, even though there's an audience behind. It's nice just to have a voice in addition to our gorgeous customers and their comments as well.
Any last bits of advice for any brands that are sort of still on the fence about diving in to the world of live
Just
commerce?
go for it. Don't try and be perfect from the get go. It is a learning curve, I think, for all of us who are already in this space, because it is a space that is always moving and always evolving, because the technology is as well. And even the different live streaming apps or forums, or partner opportunities, they're equally always learning and changing as well. So it's important, to keep researching, keep looking at other brands as well for inspiration. It's not necessarily the copycatting that we want to encourage, but it's more that you can take inspiration and see what's working for other brands that might work for you as well, or just as much as what doesn't work for brands. So that's should be something to avoid. So there's learnings to be had everywhere. So don't hold back, dive right in, get your feet wet, and learn as you go.
Exactly. And it is the future of retail. And by the way, the future is already here. You're either getting on that train or you're hopefully, I don't know, not lagging too far behind, but it's definitely the space to go. Emer, if anyone wants to follow along on the live streams or see what Elemis is all about, how do they do that?
Yeah, we'd love to have you join in on our live stream. Just head on over to our website, elemis.com, and you'll find links there as well to our live shopping experiences. If you're not already a shopper on elemis.com, you can also sign up to the newsletters or to the text messages as well that will alert you of when our lives are happening. And you can always follow us on social media as well.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Emer.
Thanks so much, Dawn. Pleasure. Great to talk to you.